Okay, so let me see, by show of hands, how many of you, when it's time to buy a new pair of skates, go directly to the Bower rack and pick something out? Yeah, so I used to be that way too. And welcome back to the Guitar Slinger Hockey channel, and this is actually my first review that I'm posting after my introductory video that I just recently posted. So what we're going to be doing today is reviewing the all-new CCM SuperTack. And just to kind of give you a little bit of background, so I wanted to talk about the last 4 pairs of skates that I've owned. And so we're going to talk about just the skates that I've had, what skates I tried on when I was looking at picking up a new pair of skates. Obviously you can see what I chose. Fit comparison of what I've used in the past and the skates that I tried out. The cost and my philosophy on cost, so how much those skates cost, because all that stuff is really expensive nowadays. I will give you the pros for these skates and some cons as I see them. And also let you know about a little bit of the extra stuff that I've done to these skates that are completely a preference thing. So to start off, so some of the skates that I was in, so the last pair of skates that I was wearing prior to the CCM SuperTack were the Vapor APX2s, and prior to that was the Supreme MX3, prior to that was the Supreme NXG, and then way before that was a pair of Graf 705s. And when I was going into the place that I normally go to get fitted up for skates, I tried on the, obviously what you see here, I tried also on the CCM Jet Speed Limited Edition. I thought they were pretty slick looking. I tried the Bower Supreme 1S, the Vapor 1Xs. So kind of on a fit, from a fit perspective, I'm thinking that the way I will describe the various skates, so we had the SuperTacks, which you see here, the Vapor series, and the Supreme series were the ones that I tried on, as well as the Jet Speeds. So the Vapor series of skates, I think you guys can all go online and see that it says kind of a slim or a narrow style fit for the Vapor skates, and then it talks about Supreme being like a regular / all around kind of width on the foot, and just kind of the most general fitting skate. And then you got the, even though I didn't try on a pair of Nexus, those are a really wide and voluminous skate. And then when you talk about the CCM Jet Speeds, the Jet Speed is a comparable fit to the Vapor on paper. We're going to get to that. And so I would describe the CCM SuperTacks skate as it has the width of a Supreme skate. However, it has the volume of a Vapor skate. And one of the reasons why I personally was in a Vapor APX2 prior to this pair of skates is that although a Supreme skate fits my foot, like for example, I'll wear a regular width in a Bower Supreme skate and it'll fit perfectly, but there isn't near enough volume in a Supreme skate for my foot depth. And I didn't think I had a particularly odd-shaped foot or deep foot or whatever, voluminous foot or whatever you want to say. But if you're one of those types of players that says, you know what, I kind of have issues with lace bite, and I kind of have issues with this part of the cap, the seam, kind of putting pressure on the top of my foot, guess what? I bet you have a deeper foot than you thought you did. And so you might take that into consideration. So what the Vapor APX2 allowed me to do is, although it had the correct depth, it was way too narrow for me. So I got myself into a Bower Vapor APX2 in a wide skate, and that did a pretty good job. But what I've found with the SuperTacks is that these particular skates have the width of a Supreme, but the depth of a Vapor. So if you're having any issues with lace bite, or the toe cap is kind of putting pressure on the top of your foot here, I bet you that these skates would fit you really well. And that's something to keep in mind when you're looking for skates. When I was trying on the Jet Speeds, they were also pretty nice. I will say that from a quality standpoint, the Jet Speeds just didn't seem like they had the stiffness and the potential durability that any of the other skates that I tried on, so any of the other offerings from Bauer, as well as the SuperTacks that you're looking here. Also, I think that the jet speeds also have the same aggressive pitch forward that vapor skates do. So if you do like that pitch forward, they will be a pretty good choice. From a boot fit standpoint, the depth and volume of the skate was actually pretty similar to the SuperTacks that you see here. However, the heel is narrower, and actually it put a pretty decent pinch on the back of my heels, which I personally didn't like when I was trying them on. And then trying on like the Bauer Supreme 1S's, same issue that I had in my other Supreme skates was that it's, the width is just fine, but it's just way too shallow of a boot for me. The Vapor 1X's, it would have been the same issue of me needing to purchase a wider boot in order to get the benefit out of that volume. And when I got the wider boot, what it basically meant is that there was some slop from a side-to-side motion in the front of the cap area here. So that was just something to take into consideration, and based on my fitting experience, I didn't really notice anybody say that I had a kind of an odd-shaped foot. It's just my foot was shaped that way, and yours might be similar to that. So remember, when you're looking at getting new skates, or you're trying to figure out what's bothering you in your own skate, remember that you have to not only look for the length of the boot, and the width of the boot, but also the volume of the boot and the shape of your foot. There's a lot of things that you take into consideration, and so that's why you need to go to a place that has a number of different skates for you to try on, if it's possible for you to do so. Okay, so essentially, kind of to sum up, these particular skates, they have the width of a Supreme and the depth of a Vapor. So I thought that was a pretty cool fit, and so that's why I got them. From a cost standpoint, okay, dudes and dudettes, all the skates are freaking expensive. That's the bottom line. I wanted to go... Alright, got a quick go back about the skates here. So, one of the things that you may or may not like about the SuperTacks is that they are extremely stiff. They're very, very stiff. I noticed this to be a good thing. My height and weight is 5'9" and 220 pounds. Looking to change that weight in the near future. But anyway, so I do have the weight that's kind of good for the stiffness of these boots. But if you do not like a really stiff boot, that you might take that into consideration when you're looking at skates. Very, very the stiffest skates I've ever worn by far. Okay, now going back to cost. So all the skates are really expensive these days. But in my experience, you mostly get what you pay for when you're forking out the money for these. These skates were $1,000 Canadian when I got them, so you're probably you're going to be paying for skates when you get them. You guys got to decide how much money you want to spend on it. But I would say that if you're going to spend money on any piece of equipment, more money than another piece, get the best skates you can for your money and the best stick you can for your money, and skimp on the rest of your equipment, from a general perspective. That's just how I've kind of taken it, because if you can't skate and you can't stick handle, then it's kind of pointless how expensive and how comfortable your shin pads are. So just something to think about. So that's kind of my philosophy, is just it's not necessarily you needing to buy the most expensive thing that you can get, but you do need to pay money to get something that fits you properly. And in my case, I had saved up money for a while because I knew I wanted to get something really nice, and that's what I did. Up to you. So another thing about these skates, I'm going to talk first about the pros of these skates, and then I'll talk about the cons, because there are some. Anybody who tells you that there are not cons with any piece of hockey equipment is BSing you. There's a good and a bad to most gear, and I'll talk about those here. First thing, pros. These skates fit amazing. I've never had a pair of skates that have fit so well, and I think it's really due to the fact that when you heat these up, the whole boot fits, and the whole boat heat molds around your ankles, not just the internal padding in here. And what that really enables a better fit. And additionally to that, because there's no outsole on these skates, it makes it a lot easier for it to heat mold and wrap the front of your foot, and it's just super, super comfortable. Never had a pair of skates fit like that. Also, one of the things that I had concern about when I first was looking at these skates is that because there's no outsole, I kind of thought it might have an odd feel to it, and it would be maybe just a scam, for lack of a better term. It basically was just like, is this going to actually do anything to not have an outsole on these? And I will tell you this: I've skated for a while. I've used a bunch of different really high-end, top-end skates. I have never in my playing career felt a legit difference, a positive difference from the first few strides on the ice. You are very, very connected with the ice with these skates on. It's just your foot going straight into the tower, pushing off and stuff is great. You don't have there. I guess I learned a lesson in that there's really a difference. If you could do one of these skates and didn't have the outsole on it like these, I think you'll notice a difference for the positive. It really helped get my feet going a little quicker, got started a little quicker, stopped a little quicker. Definitely an agility bonus to not have an outsole on these. Additional stuff here. So the foot wrap is awesome. They are a fairly light skate, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Stiff skate. They're also, I've skated quite a while in these now. I would say that it's been months and months now, and they're holding up very well to just abrasions and scratches and all that kind of stuff. Maybe it's better than my old Bauer APX2s. Additionally, they seem to be able to take a shot better than the Bauer skates, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because of the stiffness, but anyway. So, all in all, not having an outsole on here is legit. It really works. The fit, they can get a better fit than other skates because there's no outsole on here, and it wraps around your foot better. Very stiff if you like a stiff skate, so they're very responsive. So anyways, top-notch skate. I really like them a lot, but there are some negatives about it, which I'll talk about. And then I want to talk about a couple of things that I've done to the skate that you might consider. So negatives. Probably the biggest negative for these skates is because they are so stiff and so thin, there is not quite enough padding on the ankle bones in here. Now for me, so what that means is when you tighten these up and when you flex the skate forward, then what happens is your ankle bone on the inside, the pointy part of the bone, well actually there's not much here. There's hardly anything there for padding. Now, maybe you are it's kind of going to be dependent on each one of you, like personally how your ankle's put together, but the bones on my ankle are a little bit more pointy, I guess, for lack of a better term, and so that bugs me a little bit. It's a minor thing, but it does bug me a little bit, and I'll tell you the way that I've had to fix it is, if you've ever seen one of these before, this is a gel bunga pad. These completely fix the issue. It's mostly just annoying that on a $1,000 pair of skates that you have to do this. But it does 100% fix it. You just press it up against your ankle bone, put your hockey sock on, put it, and away you go. And no issues. So that's one thing. Other thing is that the boots are heavier. So these are not, this is kind of I guess a good and a bad thing. So these are not the lightest skates on the market. The Vapor 1Xs have got these beat on weight, definitely. But it hasn't been, because they're so responsive, it doesn't matter. It's just, you can really get your feet moving with them. And but they are definitely heavier if you care about that. You can see somewhere on the CCM logo has already worn completely off. That's just cosmetic stuff, but it's something for you guys to know about. The tongue is pretty thin. I kind of feel like it's not really made that well, but it's definitely protecting the way it should. So I've been happy with it. I think that also the eyelets. I kind of missed the idea of the vapor skates where they didn't have any eyelets on here. So I'm suspect that these are going to go at some point and have to be replaced. But c'est la vie. That's how it goes. Also, the tendon guard seems to be pretty good. We'll see how that goes. I've actually had these rip off of my old Supreme NXG skates, so I'm kind of sensitive to that now. But I don't know. Everything seems to be put together really well, but it's there's some cosmetic stuff, and maybe they save some money on the tongues. I don't know. Something else for you to keep in mind, because they'll never tell you this in the store. But so these skates are a size 8. You have to buy a half size bigger skate than you've been wearing in any other skate, assuming that you're in the correct size skate. So for example, I was wearing 7.5 wide Bauer skates for a while now, and I went into the store, tried these on, loved them, bought them in 7.5 regular, and then realized that CCM skates run smaller than Bauer skates do, so I had to go up to an 8 regular in these, and that 100% fixed the problem. But I'm talking like toes jammed in the center, or jammed in the toe cap, so keep that in mind. Don't think that you wear a 7.5 in a Bauer and then a 7.5 in a CCM. Ain't gonna happen. So expect to go up a half size, which I don't like doing that myself, just because like being in the small skate I can possibly squeeze my foot into, but definitely had to be an 8D. The other thing is, and this blew my mind, so I don't know if it's worthy of mind blowing, but it just was like surprised me. The laces that come in these size 8 skates, anybody guess how long these are? So most people will say that if you have a 7.5 or an 8 skate, you're going to be using 96 or 108 inch laces. I used to wear 108 inch laces. Well, guess what? The laces that come with these skates are 115.5 inches long for some reason. So there is no getting around it. You will absolutely have to buy 120 inch laces, or if you like them long, go to 130. They do not know that in any hockey shop that I've been to. So just take it from me. You need to get 120 inch laces if you want to buy replacement laces for this. I don't know if it's the eyelets are further apart or there's more of them, something going on, but just something to keep in mind. Okay, so that's kind of the pros and cons. So just like everything, it's awesome, but you got that little ankle bone thing, which is probably the worst of it. I don't have it in my left skate, but it definitely happens in my right foot. So just get yourself some cheap $20-something. I guess that's not cheap for a piece of gel, but anyways, it's just a gel bunga pad. You can see it's like really, really thin. Works perfectly. It's very comfortable, and it solves the problem. Although it's annoying for spending as much as I did. So, a couple of modifications that I've done to this skate is, you might be kind of hard to see here, but I actually have an issue with my left leg. But there's let me see if I can get it up closer to the camera. So there's this clear plastic lift that I have in my left skate. That was just something I had to do. You obviously don't have to do that. But the thing I wanted to point out too is you'll see the two Lightspeed 2 towers on here, and then we're using black edge steel on this skate. So you can take the towers that CCM provides with their boot and just buy black edge steel, pop it in there. I'll probably do a review separately on black edge steel, but in my professional experience of not being a professional at all, I think Tacks towers are the best that you can buy, the holders here. I think that the edge holders that have the trigger in the back here are okay at best. I've had a number of You know, you see it once in a while. You'll see the blades come out of the edge holders in an NHL game, and that's fine. The trainers and the equipment managers need to be able to take the blades out and replace them quickly. But I also see them come out at adult rec games too, where it's not as convenient for us paying for all our own stuff. So I'm not sold on the edge towers, as well as the steel that you can buy for the edge holders are the Lightspeed 2, Lightspeed 3, and Lightspeed 4 steel that you can get for it. And the Lightspeed 4 is not nearly as good as Black Edge steel, and it is not nearly as good as step steel velocity specifically. So step steel makes some different types of steel, but velocity is their highest end model, and it's comparable to the Black Edge. So it is absolutely worth, in my opinion, the money of switching out the holder to get Black Edge steel. It is that much better than the stuff that you're going to get with a Bauer skate, the LS4 steel. It just is, from a sharpening standpoint, from a holding an edge standpoint, and from a glide standpoint. You don't have to do it, but I noticed enough of a difference, and the people that I put Black Edge steel in have noticed enough of a difference that it's been worth it to them to go and find Lightspeed 2 holders so they can put on the Black Edge steel, because, oh, guess what? Black Edge steel, you can't get that for an edge holder, and you can't get velocity step steel for an edge holder either. However, that being said, if you buy a CCM skate, in the CCM towers, you can actually put Black Edge steel in the CCM towers that come with the skate originally. They just have the bolts that hold it on. You can go online to see it. But and I did have that set up for a while with the Black Edge steel and the CCM holders, except for I noticed flex when I was skating on those CCM holders. Now, I know I'm 220 pounds, and that's probably the reason for it, but I was actually able to notice flex on those holders when I was skating on them, and then when I had these old tube towers put back on, flex is gone. It was just more responsiveness. So if you don't weigh a lot, maybe not an issue for you, but just something to consider. Also, so when I'm getting fitted for this stuff, I'm going to highly recommend that you guys have seen the yellow Super Feet before, I'm sure. These are new ones. These are actually called carbon Super Feet, and to me, I wasn't really, I had old yellow Super Feet sitting around, so I wasn't really interested in buying a new set. But once they put them in, they were actually more comfortable, and I think I got a better fit out of the skate with the carbons than I did my old Super Feet, and I think it has to do with how the cap is, or the heel cups are designed in these. Worth the money. I would say don't hesitate to pick them up if you're kind of on the fence about them. More comfortable, definitely. Other thing is always wear some sort of compression sock. This is a Bauer hockey sock. When you're getting fitted for this stuff, if you're using an athletic stop using an athletic sock. You're losing energy transfer when you skate. Use something tight like one of these Bauer socks or whatever. You pick your favorite brand. So use these in conjunction with the carbon yellow Super Feet, and when you get fitted for skates. So the bottom line is that these are really good skates. They're quick. The energy transfer is legit without having that outsole on here. They've actually had to kind of do something interesting and put a counterweight on here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Depending on your skate size, the shop may actually have to remove that in order to put a new tower on if you decide you want to do it. But anyways, overall, I think these are the most comfortable skates I've ever worn, so long as I'm wearing my gel insoles on the ankle bone. They're quick, they have a lot of response to them, and I could definitely highly recommend them as long as you kind of take all that stuff into consideration, making sure that you're choosing a skate that fits your foot shape properly. So anyways, that's all I had for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video. And definitely let me know if you have any questions, and I will do my best to get back to you. Thanks for checking it out. See ya.